Our testimonies are powerful. That's because they have the power to increase faith in the church, and they also have the power to instill faith into people that might not already have it. They have the power to plant seeds, and now they are our story as it intertwines with God's story. And what's important in them is the way we encounter God and the way God works in our lives. It can be a difficult thing to recognize, but we're not the hero of our stories. God is. And here's a little bit of my story as it intertwines with God's. Now, I was very fortunate to have parents that brought me to church. And I grew up there, and I got to hear some of the teachings of Christ and learn some of the Bible stories and whatnot. But to me, church was something that you did on Sunday. It was this area of my life that I had compartmentalized. I thought of it as part of my cultural heritage. Maybe it's just part of the background. But then I met Chuck. Chuck was a person who moved into my life when I was in grade 8 and we became fast friends. But as I got to know Chuck, I got to learn that there was something very peculiar about him. You see, he took the teachings of Jesus, the readings of the Bible, and the various tenets of Christianity seriously day in and day out. This was very strange to me as a person who thought that church was a Sunday thing. But you see, there was something about Chuck. There was something about him that I wanted. I wanted whatever he had. Now, as we became friends, I got to know more about his family as well, and his whole family was like this. They had something about them that I wanted. I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I wanted what they had. It turns out that Chuck's dad was the minister of Bethel Presbyterian Church. And so they ended up inviting me out to the youth group, and I started to go and learn more about what he had to say about Jesus. And then, we were also invited out by Chuck's sister Hillary to go to the Interschool Christian Fellowship. And as we went, we got to meet other people our own age who took this Jesus thing seriously day in and day out. And I wanted to hear more. And they had the opportunity to share their testimonies with me. And that was a really great and faith-boosting thing, because it got me really interested in what they had to say. Now, I can remember that there was one particular time when somebody had a real challenge to my faith, telling me things about how I needed to be saved. And so I went home with these things pretty overwhelmed. I went and I lied down, I had a nap about it, and then when I woke up, I had this overwhelming sense of peace. I couldn't tell you right now if I was saved that day or not, but I knew at that point that that was in God's hands. So anyway, I continued to go to youth group and these various groups to try and learn more about who God is. And then it came time for university. I kind of went off on my own way the first year, wanting to pursue what I wanted to pursue, and I decided to study psychology and French as a second language. Nothing wrong with that. But that year I made no friends. All the ones that I had moved away, and I was pretty alone. It was a very devastating time, and the only way I got through it was actually because of a gift Bible that I was given. I ended up reading and praying through it, and as I was reading the pages, the interesting thing is that God came alive to me, and I got to know more about who he was. Then some time went on, and the people in Bethel Church started to say, hey, we think you have gifts for ministry. And they got me involved in doing youth group and Sunday school and VBS and all of those neat things. Then the next year of university, I decided, that enough was enough. I was going to study what I thought was most important. And that would be, if I could learn more about who God is, that would be the best way I could spend my life. So I ended up switching to going to Crandall, which is kind of like the Redeemer of the East Coast. So I went to Crandall and I took biblical studies and kind of went from 0 to 60 in terms of learning things about the Bible, about Christianity, and so on and so forth. And it was a really faith-forming year. Aside from just learning, I got to meet other people of faith who wanted to live it out. This, of course, is just a snippet of my own story as it intersects with God's story and his plan for my life. But I hope it encourages you. And maybe it'll encourage somebody who hasn't already shared their story, maybe it was somebody who's never shared it before, to step forward and to do so. Bye for now.